Hi, I'm Cougar Christine Chang.
I'm shining love smile.
Look, I think we look like cougars today.
Yeah.
Look at my leopard.
Go Cougars.
This is when I know I'm getting older. I swear to God, like I like sparkly things and animal
leopard
print
animal
now.
print. Yeah. Yeah. I like more colorful things.
Yes,
When I
same.
was younger, just
Mute.
black, white,
Yeah,
gray.
muted.
And now I was like all the pink, all the colors and
Right. Well, it's also kind of more in fashion now, I think.
Yeah.
The fuchsias and stuff, which I'm glad because the muted thing for too long, especially because I worked in the wedding industry for so long. Like, oh my God, this is getting really played out. Can we please go to
Do
bright
some-
colors?
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. And I think when you get older too, you're just like less apologetic about things. I used to be super judgy about older women, like, oh God, that's so tacky.
Yeah.
I do like the sparkles. Now whenever I like pick a gown, I usually like my eyes go towards the sparkly one. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a certain thing about women hitting at a certain age. It's just like don't give a fuck anymore. Like, and then also it takes us a while to find our own style.
Yes. Well, they
That
don't
rhymes. Huh?
Well, they don't talk about like when you start to get 40s because that's when sometimes I'm unsure of what to wear. Like going to Vegas, like a night out in Vegas. I personally am not gonna dress hoochie the way that I did in my 20s. I don't like that look for me at this age. But I'm like, but then what do I wear? You know, it's kind of you're in that in between stage. And well, I figured out for myself it would be like a blazer, probably like I like pants and like a blazer and like a sexy top would
Yeah,
be what I would
like
wear.
yeah. I have this like unwritten rule. If I'm showing a lot top on top, then like maybe I'll have a longer dress. Like it's never all out.
Yeah. Yeah,
If I'm
balance.
showing like legs or like a mini skirt, then top I would cover it a little bit
more?
more. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, today we're gonna talk about
Dicks.
our hoe days when we dated before we met our husbands.
Yeah.
God, I've done some stupid shit.
Who hasn't?
I know, but I guess, yeah, it's just learning. I mean, for a long time, I would be kind of ashamed, like, oh my God, like I did that back then. Oh, that guy was such a bad choice, but you're learning.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
that is what your younger years are for, is you're learning.
I feel now if I hear stories like high school sweethearts are still together, and I feel like, ew. Why? Like the fairy tales of, like high school sweethearts, and he is like a football star or something, and she's like the cheerleader type, and then they're like happily married, all picture perfect, and on Instagrams and shit. I don't believe none of that. Maybe I'm being like just jelly, but I don't care. It's like no one is that perfect, picture perfect.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that just reminds you of Instagram too. The couples that it's almost like their brand is their relationship or their
Right.
family, and I mean, I've literally seen a couple arguing, like shut the fuck up and just take this fucking picture. And they'll take a picture, and that's the one that goes on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, what a load of shit, dude. But maybe that's how they make their money, like getting
Yeah.
sponsorships or whatever. But that's me. I don't like lying like that. So if Pete and I are fighting or not doing well, I'm not going to write some positive, mushy shit on Instagram about it.
Exactly.
It's not my
exactly.
style.
And yeah, many comedians talk about it. If you don't want to kill your partner, you're never really married or something like that. You're
Yes.
thinking about like killing him like 300 times or something when you're like a 7th year into your marriage. We're thinking about why the fuck I'm with him.
that is a very natural thing to question.
Yeah.
Why am I with this person? And some people get really scared of like, oh, that means something's wrong. It is completely normal with any life choice that you make that you question like, is this, how have we changed? What do I want? You evaluate And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that anything's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, back then when I was younger, I dated around and I used men as tools to like get over a last relationship. And then to a point where like it was unhealthy, so I had to learn how to be single. Because the men are always there. It's your choice to learn as a young, beautiful woman, it's your choice to kind of learn to be alone and then how to deal with pain without having a man just being there, even if you don't feel type of deep connection or love. It's just because he's there. It's like a tool for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's two types of ways that people approach relationships. There's more codependent. Well, also people who do better in pairs or in groups, and more people who do really well independent. And I think the people who are independent need to learn how to be in partnership and in groups better. And the people who tend to be codependent, it would probably serve them well if they learn to do some things like be alone. Maybe usually it's hard for them to like travel alone. And I'm like, that's probably one of the best things you can do for yourself if you're like that.
I should do that this year.
Yeah, it's amazing. I did it a lot before I met Pete. And it really filled my cup. It's at first it's a little uncomfortable.
Where did you go?
All over Micronesia. I went to London for 3 months by
wow.
myself. Iceland, Faroe Islands, and then some of the places like sometimes a friend would meet up, but a lot of times I would just go. I would ask friends, and if no one can go, I'm still gonna go because I really want to go. And the times friends did come, like one year we took a trip, New Year's, to Alaska. Like one of the best memories of my life. They were able to join. It was awesome. But I had a great time, and you really learn to love being alone. And I also think about like, what do I actually want to do? You don't have to consider anyone else. What do I actually want to do right now? I feel like going shopping. Cool. You're on no one's schedule. You don't have to check in with anyone. It's really lovely. But what I can learn to actually travel more with people, and because then it's not, I'm too used to like, I want to do what I want to do. But sometimes a group or someone else might want to do something else. So
you learn to, you learn to be like collectively taking, not just, go about your, I agree. There's a balance. If you are independent, maybe the other side of it, try to do something uncomfortable, try to take care of other people's feeling and learn how to be in a relationship and be a partner with somebody. And even because this is one of a good thing about my dad. He has a lot of friends who are in different income group. So he is very aware. It's really funny. Like all his emotional intelligence applied to his friends, but none to his family. Anyways, and so he would consider the people who don't have as much, and he will try to like pick out or plan or hotels that can fit into their budget, and eat like less bougie places or just street food. And then he's very flexible of that. And then he also has people that friends who do really well, and they cannot accept anything less than maybe like a Michelin or like 5-star hotels. Then he will go about that. So he's very neutral for that, and he will consider these people's feeling when so
that's a good skill.
So like I picked that up too. I have friends who are in various socio class.
Socioeconomic.
And I, for example, like the trip I just took to New York, those younger women don't have as much, and they're trying to,
they're building
their
still.
budget. Yeah, they're building still. And so I go about, like, I always make sure that that's okay. Is that okay? Can we do that? Even if some days I just want to, I don't want to eat this fucking hot dog and pizza shit.
Yeah.
Can we do like some but then I think it's not about me. because some of these girls is first time in New York and they're younger. So I have to remove myself and then think in other people's shoes. And then like, oh, or collectively, do we have a good time? What is my goal here? Is my goal here to feel like yeah, it's just vibing. My goal is have a good time, and which means at sometimes I will have to sacrifice. I don't know. I don't like to use that word. It's just kind of consider other people's feeling.
That's a, like relationship 101 right there. And it's something I have to learn to do, because one of my things that I really do not want to happen is becoming an older, super rigid person. And that all comes down to habit. I already feel it happening, because if you're used to doing things your way all the time, it's harder to break out of that. And I could be super judgy sometimes when someone like wants a restaurant that I think is, I'm like, I don't want, I'll just pay for you. Let's go over here.
Yeah. You know? I hold myself back to do that.
That's better. I need to learn to do that better.
Because it can feel very... I don't know the other person. It can feel really bad to them. It's like, oh, some people don't like to get like treated to dinner. They want to pay for their own. And anyways, and yeah, what was you talking
about?
Dating.
Dick.
Yeah, back to dick.
Back to dick.
Oh, yes. So I dated broke guys before, and
on purpose.
Somewhat too. It's almost like, cause the society kind of shames women. Also, maybe it's my own like internal shit going on. I just felt, you know what, I'm different. Like I'm not one of those gold diggers and only date rich guys. I'm a date broke guys. I'm different. Out there and doing charity work, you know? Like I would pay for him and then his friends. Like I felt it's almost like a different side of it's still validation, seeking for male validation.
You're like needed.
But it's the opposite of that. It's like, oh, I'm different than other women. I'm the woman that pays for men, but at the same time you're still like seeking for validation. So yeah, I think purposely I avoided men already like maybe come from money and stuff, and I'm like, oh no, I don't need you to pay for me. I'll pay this. And then also I don't want them to feel entitled to sex because they paid for dinner and trips. So at very least I want to go Dutch for someone that I'm not in a relationship with. And because some men feel like if I paid for this expensive dinner, you should suck my dick, because it's a mutual, like you agreed, you kind of agreed that. Then, you know, why would you come out with me and go on this date and then me paying for dinner? At least suck my dick. And a lot of men feel like that. And I don't know. I guess if I were a man, if I paid for like a $200, $300 dinner, I would maybe that's entitlement talk. I would at least, you know, let me kiss you or something. Give me something. Right? But yeah, I can't really like just, you know, blame all this on toxic masculinity. If I were paying that, yeah, I would be upset if I didn't at least get a kiss. Yeah, so like purposely I dated broke guys, and then when they treat, so yeah, I was too considerate.
Too considerate.
You're like too considerate, really? Because when it's time, like say when he gets paid and then he asks me, oh, what do you want for dinner? And I would pick the cheap option. And because I know that's all he can afford.
Okay.
And but usually when I want to go all out, I like some fine dining and stuff, and I would pay. So I guess But there is double standard, I feel. If if I, because those relationship didn't work out for a reason. I didn't respect them enough, or like kind of the initial fiery shit died down, and I look at this person and be like, okay, now you're just getting comfortable of me paying for everything. Let's deadbeat shit. Like, and I pay for car payments and rents and all that, and you're just sitting there playing video games. Then I'm not okay with. But yeah, I think it's, if I'm okay with, because when I first met my husband, he didn't have a lot of money, but at least he possessed the ability, skills to earn money, and
Good work ethic.
and good work ethic. And even when he was that broke, he never asked me to pay half of the rent. He never did. And the guy, few guys I dated before, they had money. Their parents, or at least one of them, I would, like, spend weekends in his place, where, a month or two there. I have my own place, and he would still ask me to pay half of the rent, even though weren't officially moved in yet. But with my husband, he literally didn't have money. But he never asked me to pay for half the rent. And I guess, I don't know if it's double standards or anything like that. Those little things, I feel, I don't know if it's biological. Like, you naturally want men at least have the ability to earn money, so I have the options to not do shit.
Yeah.
But if it's vice versa, I don't know. But with my husband, it's different, because we're yeah, like, the deep connection I have, I want him to do nothing.
You talked
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
before. I really love that, because he's been the sole earner
yeah.
in your marriage for
Yeah,
the
for the
last
longest time, yeah.
decade. Were you work? Oh, you were working when you first met him, right?
Yeah, I didn't make enough money to, like, support both of us. So, like he says, my money, your money is your money, my money is your money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because of that, I'm okay with him if one day I get so rich and famous.
You gotta move to LA. You
I
buy a
would-
house in LA.
Yeah, I would.
be
I want to
neighbors.
pay. Yeah, I would love that he can. It will be his term to enjoy doing nothing and no responsibilities. He would be really great at it. But when you're dating, it's a different story. Like, why would I pay for it? This man is just doing fucking nothing.
I've dated a few of those as well. Why was I attracted to them? I think I put value in feeling needed. That was one. And after I started doing personal growth, I also was drawn to, or somehow attracted, like, wounded men, like men either fresh off a breakup, or they needed fixing. Ooh, that
A
was
lot of women have.
that was a good learning lesson. And when you're done with your stuff. Now when I look back, I'm still kind of like, oh God, that's definitely, like, not what I want. But it was part of the learning process for me. I would also choose emotionally unavailable men. That one was a huge pattern of mine.
Oh.
It was, yeah. And because for some reason it felt familiar to me, there was also safety in it for me. It was a very interesting thing. And when you're done with this, it took me a long time. I did it for many years until I was like crying. Like, I was just so fresh. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I've known for years, and you can spot the signs in the beginning when someone is emotionally unavailable. So I had to do the work. Like, why am I drawn to this? And after I healed, that's when I started to change my attraction. Some women ask, like, how do you change those patterns? Like, you start to heal. So I did the work of healing my relationship with my parents and all that. And then you start to see differently and choose differently. And it was interesting after I realized I was done. And that's It's a reminder for everyone out there, like you're on your own journey and you know when you're done. We all know with all the resources out there, you probably know a lot of things already and you probably know what's healthy and what you should and shouldn't do, but it'll hit you when it hits you when you decide you want to do things differently. Yeah, I remember when I started dating better, I had to work on my self-confidence a lot too in this area of life. Because it was actually, my self-worth was really low for a lot of years.
Same.
It was, in terms of work and stuff, always very confident. I know how to build a business. I know how to make money. I got friends. I got hobbies. But I'm like, the relationships, though, my self-worth went out the door. And then I'm typically avoidant personality type, but like my anxious side would come out. Does this, because I put my self-worth as whether I was wanted or not by someone else. Does he want me? Oh, fuck, he likes someone else. Is she prettier? I would get so hurt if a guy picked someone else. It's a childhood wound of mine that I had to heal. So yeah, through all that and getting clear, once I healed, dating started to become fun too. I'm like, why isn't this fun? Why is it so heavy for me? Why was I making it like so painful, like in gloom and doom? Like, this should be fun. Just stay curious and then getting to know someone, and you get to choose, like feeling empowered as well. Because I always would let the guy choose me, like who likes me versus like, do I actually even like this guy back? And in most cases, I actually didn't. I would just say, okay, sometimes if a guy liked me and it would not be a good choice, but feeling empowered, like, wait, I choose. I have a say in this. Who do I actually like? And it was just so refreshing learning how to have fun with it. I think that's a great thing to learn how to do, because some women, they're like, oh my God, dating, it's like another full-time job. Like, I don't want to go on these online dating apps. It's so much work to like make dates, agree to dates and go out. And I'm like, well, imagine if you want to meet someone, what if the other person had that headspace? Like, I don't want to do this. Or do you want someone who's really excited about life and is like, oh my God, I got to meet someone new. Like, let's see how it goes. Like, that energy is so refreshing. So whatever you would like to see from someone, you embody that and you be that.
Yeah, relatable. I think a lot of young women, men also, place their self-worth in relationships, and if that person leaves or something were to happen, or like cheating or anything, lying, cheating, you feel like a shit. That just hurts your self-worth, and you played in your head from the first time you meet each other and how the fuck we are here, and that's really devastating. And looking at my past relationships, I was very passive because I closed off. Like, I didn't know what love was. And if a man expressed his interest in me, I was like, okay. Like, let's try it out. And if I could picture having sex with you, okay, that means I can give this thing a try. I wish I dated more when I was younger, like in school, or like just like a junior high or like high school, or even like in college. I didn't date as much. I dated more when I became like a younger professional than like entering a workplace. But yeah, I wish I dated more when I was younger. Like, have your like a maybe heartbreak early on, or like, I don't know, maybe someone with a broken heart in early age would probably give a different advice and say, yeah, I wish I didn't date when I was younger. I just prepare when I'm in a healthier mindset, and dating when I'm older. Anyways, I just, whatever it is, like learn. Dating is fun. It can be really fun. It's painful, and you're opening yourself up to get hurt in that disappointment. And every time, if like you see it as a failure, he didn't call you back, you thought you had a good time. The same goes with men. Like, and he feels like, oh, we had a good time, but she always like just ghosted me, and she just ghosted. I ghosted somebody too before, for sure. And yeah, that can really hurt.
It's
confusing, and it makes you question
Rejection.
your own. Either you question your own thing and you go so depressed and you're like, everything, what's wrong with me, or you go the opposite direction. Oh, fuck these people, you know, fuck men, fuck women, like you know, fuck relationships, I'm done with it. Either way is not healthy, and it just, I don't. But dating, it is necessary. It is fun. It's a way to learn yourself, how you handle disagreements, how to communicate, how to take care of and nurture other, and how to enjoy. Because for the longest time I couldn't, like when men are real nice to me, or like take care of me real good, I feel like, ugh, I'm not comfortable
receiving.
yeah, I'm not comfortable receiving or taking, you know, like good compliments or something. I am not comfortable with that. I feel, I don't know why. Maybe there's some deep rooted shit like worked on.
Yeah, I used to not let people help me or get. I had a trouble receiving as well. I think it's kind of cultural too. I remember my mom is always like, "Don't inconvenience other people. Don't owe anyone anything," and that was deeply ingrained in me.
Yeah,
And
the stress of, oh my God, he did this nice thing to me. How am I gonna up that?
yes,
I need to return a favor right away.
Yes, yeah. So you get anxious about it. And I remember one time some girlfriends were over and I had kind of like a gathering party, and then they wanted to help me clean. And of course, like a good Asian, I'm like, stop, like, don't. I actually was genuinely uncomfortable. I'm like, you guys stop. Like, you don't have to do anything. I'll take care of it. And then one of them was like, can you just please let us help you? And I remember she was wiping the counter. I was like, oh my God, I have a problem with this. Because people want to, that's letting someone love you, is letting them do things for you. So when I was dating, guys would be like, oh, I'll come to you, I'll pick you up. And I would be like, no, that's okay. Because I didn't want to inconvenience them. And to some degree, they feel like they want to do things and I'm not letting them do things for me. So that's something I had to learn to do, is receive. Because people, they do, like when you give, right, you want someone to receive it. Have you ever tried to do something for someone and someone's like, no, I don't want it? Like sometimes my husband still does that to me. I'm like, do you want any food or something? Like I cook something. He's like, no, I don't want it. I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, it'll just make me so happy if you just, whether you want it or not, just fucking take it. But he's just honest, you know. He's like, I'm not hungry. I'm like, well, fine. But it feels good to, you know, on both ends. You want to give and then lovingly receive it. As long as it's given like a genuine gesture. Because some people, they do give with the expectation, like, I did this for you. What are you going to do for me? Those people are not good people. Like, don't hang out with people like that.
Yeah.
And but sometimes that can take a minute to learn of someone's intentions as well. Because some people are very good at playing the nice guy, whatever. And then down the road,
True color shows.
It might happen. They'll, you know, hang it over your head or something like that.
Yeah, in the beginning of our relation, me and my husband, he would get frustrated too. Let me take care of you. Can you just sit down and relax? Yeah, I can definitely relate. It feels like, yeah, maybe our upbringing, all that plays part to it. Now I feel more comfortable, just kind of sit and relax. But when there are like guests in the house, I feel like, oh damn, like I need to, like all my nerves are on alert. It's like, are they comfortable? Like, should I get some like more like fruit, water, coffee? It's like a muscle memory. You kind of just naturally you want to take care of people. You yeah, but that can be really draining. You just relax, and you know, if they're real friends,
yes,
they will be okay.
That's
if you forgot to pour them a water,
yes,
it's fine.
Yeah, those are my favorite kind of friendships, and that's the kind of dynamic that P and I have wanted to create in our home. Because in the beginning, there is that like kind of formality, like both parties are kind of unsure. And with my close friends, I literally want them. I'm like, you can come over anytime. Just be like, oh, I'm in the neighborhood, like pop on over. Like you have the code to our door. Like I never want them to feel like they have to ask like to come over. It's just kind of like community, right? And to drink, I'm like, go in the fridge and get something. I don't find that rude. You know, I actually don't want to pour you a drink. So can you please do it yourself? So I make that clear. And I like that. I want them to feel at home, just like if I were to go to their home. Everyone's raised differently, but I don't like the stuffiness of their like, can I get you a drink? You know, I'm like, what is this? What kind of dynamic is this?
The customer service person is always on your tail.
Yes. Like, I'm like, what do you want from me? You know, like I like relaxed energy. And so Pia and I are intentional that we want to create that. And you can absolutely create that, you know? But also when I go to other people's houses too, sometimes like, yeah, like, have you ever been anywhere and you just don't feel, even if everyone's really nice, you feel like you can't just like relax and do you. I hate that energy. I really hate it. I want to just be me. Can I just be me, please?
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's what I looked for when I was dating. Like, and that's why one of the main reasons I chose my husband is I feel loved for being me. I think in the end, that's what people really want. I've never heard anyone say like, oh, I'm okay with not feeling like a be me, or, you know, it's that kind of love is just, it feels so good. And Pete, it's not just tolerates you for you, like they genuinely love you for you. And so that's one thing that I looked for. Can I be me, all sides of me with this person? And with a lot of guys I dated, the happy, sexy me was fine. The confident me was fine. But as soon as if I dipped into like, I'm not having a good day, you know.
Are you on your period? Are you okay?
Right,
Manage your emotions.
Yeah, and they weren't okay with it. They didn't know how to hold space for it. And that is a red flag. But I would, at that time, take it like really personal. Like, oh my gosh, I have to be the best version of me all the time. This is how I can keep someone. That's what I literally thought. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Like, my work is to get comfortable with me, love all sides of me. And when you learn to accept it, then, you know, you kind of train people how to love you too.
Exactly. Yeah, people treat you the way you treat yourself too. Yeah, like you show them how to properly treat you. But first, you have to love yourself. Learn how to love yourself. Yeah. But I think younger women, we all went through that phase to self-love journey. And we like if we were like always nervous and anxious or try to please everybody, that's an easy prey. It like men with bad intentions, they can spot that right away. And they can manipulate you to do things, and you easily get manipulated and date like a narcissistic person. Yeah. And then you won't even aware.
Like Tinder swindler.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen that documentary,
I can't.
It is. I actually could not stop watching it. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they actually got tricked. But there's like redemption, you know, she got the story out there. I'm like, good for her. But I was just so surprised, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, women out there, the bottom line is don't ever fucking send money to nobody.
Don't. Yeah, unless you're fine with never getting it back.
Yeah.
Any money you give to people is a gift, okay? I just view it as that. Exactly. If I'm loaning anyone, this is a gift. I expect it might not come back. To be okay with that. So I find like not knowing someone and loaning them that much money.
Yeah. Unless you're married, y'all going through some like a project together, it's both of your money. Yeah. But no, it's just dating. Do not give guy any money. Send them any money. That's the bottom line. If you don't know anything else, like the other red flags, but the minute he asked for money, no. That's my thing.
Yeah, I don't. I just everyone's different because I would just never. That's one thing I would never do. But you're right. When women are in that space, and if they have kind of a nurturing, pleasing personality, and you're kind of lost in your emotions,
I believe in him. It's like the starving artist, and then this is his, thing. Like, oh yeah. Woo. That's one of the reasons I can't watch that. I don't want to get ugly and start judging because that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some stupid shit too. Different, but stupid. I've chosen horribly before.
Yeah, same.
You know, you definitely some bad apples. But at the same time, I was learning. I can't say I was like this catch all the time. Like I was learning at that time too.
Imagine dating now. Like we were in prior social media dating time.
I did. I was on the apps.
Oh, you were on the apps.
I was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are a lot more apps.
Now it's a lot. There's a lot more. So people experience more. What is it? What's the opposite of mindfulness? Like people just being like ghosting, people not responding, and
Inconsiderate.
just inconsiderate. Like I know for efficiency's sake, a lot of guys, the way they swipe, they'll swipe yes to everything and then see what matches come up and then pick from there. So some women will be like, oh, we matched, but why isn't he answering? It's just their way of dating. They're trying to be efficient. But I think back when I was doing it, I really, really liked it. I met some really awesome guys on the apps. This is, I think, when Tinder was new. And what else was I on? There was like,
is that how you and Pete met?
Plenty of Fish. No, we met organically. I was waiting for an Uber in Venice. And yeah, I got I wanted an organic
as
story.
organic as a ghost.
Yeah. But in the end, I was, because I'm romantic, so I was like, oh, I hope I get an organic story. But I was open because I said, you know what? If he shows up and he's here, I don't care how the fuck I meet him. If he's here, he's here. So I'm just going to stay open. So I was on the apps and I met some really, really awesome guys. Of course, not every date's going to be great. You don't connect with everyone. I don't think I have any like really good horror stories. I think I was pretty good at sifting them out. And I would always FaceTime or talk to them on the phone before meeting up in person. Because you see more, like, can we hold a conversation? The tone of their voice, you see a little bit more about them versus just photos. Like you're really not sure what you're gonna get. Some people are really good texters. Like,
did you tell your girlfriend beforehand, like, oh, text me at 5 minutes mark. If it goes good, then yeah. But if not, like,
if you need
tell
an
me
out.
like, out strategy. Yeah, there's that emergency.
Yeah,
I always had that with my girlfriend.
Yeah, well, kind of a safety thing too nowadays with women. Did you ever text your friends or you
Save
ask
me.
them or tell them like, hey, I'm gonna be here tonight. Like if you don't hear from me tomorrow, check in on me, okay?
Yeah, if I go on dates with people, even maybe just like I know them, but don't know them really well, I would ask I would share a location with my girlfriend, and they know exactly where I will be, and they'll check in and call and pretend it's some emergency or whatever. Like my grandmother was something. Like, we come up with all different like safe words and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, I think it makes me a little sad that women have to think about things like that. I think men don't fully understand how unsafe women can feel. This is a real thing. Even Pete, my husband, who is an amazing guy, like because he's a tall white guy, physically too, he doesn't get harassed in Venice, by like homeless people. I'm like, I do. Like you have no idea how unsafe I feel. And he saw some video online where a young woman filmed herself walking through New York and the cat calls. Of how many times she get cat calls every day. And he's like, can you believe this? I'm like, welcome to being a woman.
Not gonna lie, some days cat call boosted my confidence.
I'm like, oh, someone still finds me attractive. But he had no idea. And what that makes me think of, do you still get hit on?
Not as much.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's energetic as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get hit on as much. But I notice I get hit on more in the Bay Area than LA.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
Did you hit on in New York when you were?
Yeah, I know, yeah. But I don't pay attention to that as much now.
Okay.
Yeah, in a group of our girls, and then one of them say, "Hey, he was staring at you." I don't pay attention to that as much because my eyes aren't wandering no more.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it's energy, but also, well, I mean, like, I don't, do you wear your ring? I have my ring,
Oh,
so
I
that's
don't have
probably a
it. Yeah.
thing too. But yeah, it's pretty rare these days. But I do notice that I get hit on more in New York and in the Bay Area more than LA. So I do think dating in different cities, there's generalizations of, yeah, because I think I tend to be more masculine and I think I lead more with intellect. And in LA, a lot, there's beautiful women. So I'm probably higher on the scale, like in terms of looks, like in the Bay Area or like outside of LA. There's like the OnlyFans look, and it's very, there's a lot of emphasis on
Bay Area
physicality.
10, LA 6.
Yes, exactly. And the women, I think, are more feminine. I think the LA men too, born and raised in LA, tend to be a little more feminine. And so I did really well dating in New York because the men appreciated like how I could be direct, and there was just a natural flow there. I loved dating over in New York. Yeah, and here as well in the Bay Area. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. I found that to be, yeah,
Yeah.
interesting observation.
I different like a location. I mean, this I like Southern man, Southern gentleman.
They're like your husband. Oh my God, their
Yeah.
manners, they are lovely.
Yeah, yeah. I like I mentioned like I like men that are raised conservative but with liberal hearts. I trust them more than men who always say the right thing and claim themselves as feminist or like a really liberal guys. I feel iffy if a guy always knows what the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And usually like the self-claimed feminist guy, they do the shittiest thing to women. They cheat, they lie, they like it's like they're a wolf wearing sheep clothing or some type of shit. Like try to blend in, try to get pussy. Because I don't believe it. They are most men when they hear feminist, they go, "Ugh, feminist." It's a normal guy behavior. But if a dude is like, "Oh, I love, I support women. Women empowerment. I'm with women." I'm like, "Yo, that's a red flag to me." He's trying to fuck all these women, because that's the easiest way to get into women's panties, to like say the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, that reminds me of like the charming guy too. I used to go after that guy. And then I realized because it could be manipulative too.
Yeah.
And Pete is just what you see is what you get. And that is one of my favorite things about, because it's authentic and it's genuine. Does he say the right thing all the time? Fuck no. But I want authentic. I don't want like a charmer. You feel almost like tricked.
Yeah, with like, with my husband, I remember saying something like, I said, I think you're a feminist. And then he's like, "Ew, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard."
But I think he is. He respects.
Yeah, but
women.
he just because he's a man, he needs to like say those things. That I feel it's funny. I think it's funny when he said that. But yeah, I know he respects women, and his mother raised him and his brother really well. Yeah,
That's great.
she's the only female in the group. I mean, she don't have daughters or anything. She raised them well.
Good.
They all put down the toilet seats and shit. And they're considerate. And then they don't feel like, why do I have to lift the seat? If I do that, then do you do it for me? It's that type of mentality. I don't like that. But he never. He's not the type that keeps score.
Same with Pete. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It's very refreshing. That's how it should be, actually.
Yeah.
The energy is just a giving.
Yeah.
An energy, natural flow.
Yeah. And so, I tend to, like lean towards Southern man. Man who, like very handy. and knows
they
how to
can
fix
do
shit.
things.
Yeah.
That is kind of a lost skill. I
Yeah,
would
know
say,
how
with
to
a
like
lot of
change tires.
yeah, a lot of city
change
boys.
oil.
I like that too. I mean, is that sexist or
Yeah, I guess.
you know, it's kind of unfair. You know,
It's
but
unfair. It's unfair, like for men to say, "Yeah, I like women who suck dick really well, be in the kitchen, and make me real good food." Yeah, it's like the same who say, "Oh, I like men who can fix things, pay for things."
But I think just being, because women look at competency. I am clear that the expectation of, because I don't know how to fix everything, so I can't expect Pete to know that either. But if you like it, there's nothing wrong with that. Because I agree. I find it very sexy when a man is competent and they know how to do things
Yeah, and then yeah,
better. And this is kind of unfair too, but usually like better than me. Because I feel like if I can do something, a lot of things quicker and faster than you, sometimes I feel like,
why do I need you for?
yeah, I'm like, and which is kind of unfair. But I will be honest, in the feeling, just feels like, am I like the lead here? Because it's not like, even oh my god, I was on an airplane, and my camera bag was so heavy because there's so much equipment on it, and I couldn't put it in the overhead bin, and the guy behind me, he was younger, but he just watched me try over and over again to put it over. And I looked at him and he's just looking at me. And to be fair, I'm like, okay, like have clear communication, just ask for what you want. But part of me was like, what the fuck? You wouldn't, like, any sex or not, if there was someone in front of me who was struggling, I would say, can I help you do that? And he was just so I call it like dopey, like and then when I asked, then he like kind of helped me, but I did not like that. I'm like, who raised you?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's these days Gen Z are kind of like that, all in their own zone, and then there's no like a traditional gender role anymore. It's like, okay, a female can lift a two or something, or can fix toilets or whatever,
Then I
put on the lights or curtains, and I guess
yeah. Well, and to be fair, some men have said they are kind of scared, or it feels like it's not welcome to do these things because they have gotten a negative reaction for it. Like, I can do it myself. Or right, or like the ordering the food for him, when I did have a reaction saying like, do you think I can't talk? So sometimes they do feel unsure, like, okay, women's empowerment, they want to do it themselves, maybe I won't say anything unless she asks. So to be fair, like I shouldn't have that expectation, but that feeling did come up, that I was just like, more like logical, like, someone needs help, you could ask, maybe. Everyone's different, but I feel as myself like I'm a very proactive person, that I was raised just like, don't just sit there and be like useless. If someone's there and everyone's working on something, don't just sit there. So
offer help or something.
Offer help, be useful.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, well, dating, of course, there was some disaster years. What's, like, the stupidest thing you've done dating?
Spend a whole lot of money. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, and it's probably money, like buy, like a watch, PlayStation, and like, kind of shower them with like gifts and stuff. And if this it sounds like a player dude behaviors, like when you see a girl, you just because the easiest thing, especially when you have money, you can afford these gifts, and you just buy these gifts to the women, and they expect them to kind of just be there and suck your dick or like have sex with you. You have that expectation. And for me, that was, if I did that, I do not want you to challenge me or tell me no. And I need you just take my shit. And that was my bad, because just because I give you this watch doesn't mean you can just sit there and get yelled at by me for like 30 minutes. It's almost like I'm paying for a punch bag to make me feel good. At least I felt I bought your shit, you're wearing the shit. Why can't you just, take a beating for 30 minutes? That sounds toxic as shit. But it was like that. It was like my mentality was like that. It's like, because I was nice to you, I bought gifts, and you now are my punching bag, and you should just take it. And like, I kind of viewed men like that early on. And even when I was dating my husband at the time, I was like that too in the beginning. But he didn't take it. He wasn't like a simp or anything like that. And he would tell me, no, this is not how you treat people. I refuse to be treated like that. And obviously I won't take it. And then there were some moments, but then he guided me to what love is and allowed me to be vulnerable. And see, oh, okay, so this is a little part, the little girl in me that is hurt. So hurt people. I believed in that. And yeah, that I don't hold my exes hostage because they didn't exhibit the same mature behavior. Nobody is obligated to take your bullshit.
100%.
So yeah, now looking, definitely there were times like I blamed them. It's like, oh, fuck this dude, this stupid bitch, or something like a broke, deadbeat shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's your loss.
Yeah, oh, for sure. We've all gone through that. That's part of the healing process. But at the same time, what's your part? Hey, you chose him.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah.
Like, are you mad at yourself for choosing and sticking around for that long?
Yeah.
Learn to forgive yourself as well. You're learning.
Yeah. And now I'm in a better place, and then I don't feel like it's all their fault. I see a part of because it's impossible. It takes both. I mean, what's the saying? Both hands to clap or something? Takes both to mango? I don't know
this. But two to tango?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you gotta take your part of responsibility too. And if you always get in a bad relationship, one after another, maybe you're the common denominator, and you think about your dating pattern and think about maybe try to heal yourself before you jump into a relationship.
Yes, absolutely. And no one's gonna come save you.
No, yeah.
No one is gonna. You really have to do the work yourself, and it's a disappointing part of maturing and coming into adulthood. But your life is up to you. Like, you can meet people who can inspire you, but no one's gonna do the work for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You decide that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even with being with my husband, all the like unconditional love he showed me, I had to learn to love myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't something he could help me with. No matter what he had said or done for me, I couldn't like see it. I had to work on myself to know to self-love, to make myself happy, and not because then I won't be codependent on him.
Yeah. Fill your own cup. Absolutely. I think that makes for a healthy marriage dynamic as well. Because it does feel nice to be loved, but no one's going to fill your cup for you. I'm so happy that I learned how to choose better and, what a healthy relationship actually is, which can feel very boring to some people, especially if you're used to like,
the roller coaster.
If that's what's familiar, is that kind of like being stimulated in that way. I had to learn like, oh, this is not healthy. Actually, what's real love like? And Pete has taught me he's taught me a type of love that I didn't even know existed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Like I just
we
at
like
40
both
years
of us.
old.
Yeah, we didn't get to this place without going through some bad dicks or bad relationships. Like everything that just we got to this point because of these bad dating history. We learned what we love, and we learned more about ourselves too. So for people who aren't even dating or put yourself out there, you shouldn't be like complaining. Not like shouldn't be complaining, but like it. If you're saying, oh, why there's a guy, where's my guy? Like there are no good guys, but you're not even giving them a chance. Like maybe you're not a healed place.
They're out there.
You're
just picking.
Yeah, they're kind.
You're not picking them.
Men and women out there, meaning kind of men and women, a lot. So like I don't know why y'all complaining about they aren't good men out there. Maybe you're not giving them a chance because you think it's boring. Yeah. But just heal yourself first, and maybe open yourself up to dating. And when it fails, it's nothing to do with, because don't link your self-value worth with failed relationship. I guess it doesn't say nothing bad about you. It doesn't work. It's like going through job interviews.
Yeah.
Some companies will hire you. Will give you an offer because you both like each other. And some companies just not a good fit. Or maybe you reject offer. If you see it like, more objective like that, it won't like hurt your self-worth.
Absolutely. And sometimes two people just don't click or they don't work out. I was watching my niece. How old is she? 6? And there was a new friend. I'm like, oh, do you want to play with a neighbor friend? And then my sister, her mom, told her, like, go play with her, And I watched them play, and after a while, she's like, Mom, can I come in? And it was nothing personal. She just didn't click with this other little girl, and that was it. It's completely natural that happens, and it doesn't mean anything about her. It's just like they didn't click. And where you remember when you're in grade school, you just gravitate towards certain people, right? Interesting. So learning that it's not personal. And the last piece of advice I will give when you're dating, when you're younger, is if you send naked pictures, do not include your face if you do not know that person well. And even if you know them well, I know there's photos of me out there somewhere. I don't know if they're on the interwebs. If so, I haven't seen anything, but I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, what if these ever came out someday?
Yeah, and I almost want to holler my ex-boyfriend who I knew has my sex tape. Please don't.
Well, that might mean that you're famous. You get a ransom.
I guess. Yeah.
I'm going to put this out there.
Yeah, I know. Well, in that way, yeah, I wish. Okay. I have to get real big for him to blackmail me. Worth it.